This video is intended for educational and informational purposes only. All activities depicted in this video are conducted in a safe, controlled environment and fully comply with YouTube's firearm content policies. No modifications to firearms or their components are shown or discussed. All demonstrations involve legal and responsible use of firearms by trained individuals. We do not condone or promote illegal activities or unsafe handling of firearms. This video is not intended to encourage or facilitate the purchase, sale, or manufacturing of firearms or firearms-related accessories. It is designed to inform viewers about responsible firearms ownership and safety. Viewer discretion is advised, and we urge all individuals to follow laws and regulations in their local area regarding firearms. This video is in accordance with YouTube published guidelines for monetization, which are shown on the screen. Guys, what I wanted to do in this video is actually take some time to talk with some of you guys who might be getting into 1911s, that are new to 1911s, and don't necessarily understand some of the similarities and differences that are out there on some of these firearms. For you YouTube censors out there, we are not going to be showing any kind of modifications or anything like that. We are simply going to be talking about some of the differences between these firearms. Now, if you get around the 1911 world much, you are going to hear the phrase a ramped barrel versus non-ramped, and you might be asking yourself exactly what does that mean? What does that mean for the type of firearm I'm looking at buying, and so on. And that's what we're going to talk about here in this video. What I wanted to show you on the right here, we have my Springfield Operator Lightweight, and we also have my TSOS 1911 Raider. Both of these are great guns to shoot. I have had countless rounds through both of them. I've got videos on both of them on my channel. Go over and check them out. What we have with the Springfield, with it being the lightweight model, which means it has an alloy frame, this is something that is more suited for carry. The alloy is a lot lighter compared to the steel in most cases, and if you were to pick these up, you can tell a significant difference between them, even though they are virtually the same size. And there again, guys, there are differences in the weight, and that is one of the big reasons why people will in many cases choose an alloy frame gun for concealed carry. They like the lighter weight, especially when they're carrying it. But there are some trade-offs. With it being an alloy frame, one thing that you've got to be cautious of is the way that the ramp is made on the gun. Now, just to show you, with my TSOS, this is one that has, again, as we'd mentioned, the steel frame. Feed ramp right here is made as part of the frame. Okay, that is that highly polished area there. There's a lot of folks that will talk about how polishing the feed ramp can help with the feeding of the gun, depending on the type of ammunition you're using, and so on. And that is something that can be helpful depending on what you are doing with your firearm. Now, if we look at the Springfield, you're going to see that it does not have that feed ramp. Okay, just to get these up here side by side and show you, you can see here on the left, the TSOS Raider, you can clearly see that feed ramp. That's where that bullet is going to slide up and go into the chamber. On the Springfield, it does not exist. And why is that? On the Springfield, that is why we have what is known as the ramped barrel. The feed ramp is actually made as part of the barrel of the firearm. You can see here, instead of it having to have part of that frame to feed that bullet in, the bullet is simply fed in through the ramp that is directly on the barrel. This type of a barrel will not work in this type of a firearm. Okay, these are not going to be interchangeable parts, even though a lot of other 1911 parts can be. This is one of those differences. So why would you choose one over the other? And that point comes down to you and your personal preferences. There are manufacturers out there who will have an alloy frame, and then they will have the integrated ramp into the frame. Okay, again, that alloy frame which is basically, it's just aluminum with that ramp directly as part of the frame. Some manufacturers will use a different type of metal for the purpose of having something that's a little more durable. Now, my personal preference on an alloy frame compared to the steel frame is I would not have an alloy frame gun that has the integrated ramp, the feed ramp, because when you are firing, particularly if you're going to use some ammunition over a period of time, and it's going to take some time to do this, but over a period of time, what is going to end up happening with that alloy, with that constant being hit, that impact from bullets hitting that and going up into the chamber, particularly with some of the hollow points that are out there on the market, you're going to wear into that aluminum much easier than you could wear into that steel. Okay, that way, if it gets down enough, you could start having feeding issues with the gun. In such a case as that, that's where a integrated feed ramp would come in handy, in my opinion. Now, just like with this gun, it is part of that barrel, and you're going to get a lot more longevity and a lot more durability out of something like that, in my opinion. There again, guys, aluminum versus steel. If you're rubbing other metals across it, the steel is obviously going to last a lot longer, and that's one of the big reasons why there is a difference in these two. There's different manufacturers out there that make various guns with various different configurations. That is just my personal preference. I would prefer having one, if it was going to be an alloy frame gun, I would prefer having one that has the ramped barrel, as you can see here. Now let's just get the other barrel up here and compare. You can see on the TSOS that it does not have that ramp on it. Does that mean that it's worse? No, it does not. It's just a completely different design. You know, that is the key on these. That is the differences on these. Again, my personal preference, aluminum frame, alloy frame. I would want a barrel like this, and that is exactly why I have my Springfield with it the way that it is. And with the TSOS, with that heavy steel frame, then I have no problem having that feed ramp being part of the frame, because it's going to hold up and last a lot longer, okay, a lot longer compared to that alloy frame where you've got that bullet just constantly hitting that alloy, and eventually it can cause you problems. But there again, guys, it's my personal opinion. Let me know yours down in the comments below. If you are getting into 1911s, this is just one of the many things that I wanted to take some time to talk with you about, to give you some more information about. Guys, thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel. Be sure to subscribe, leave me a comment, share the video. Check out my website at boomsticktactical.com. Subscribe to my channel, share the video, and all that kind of fun stuff, and we'll see you next time.